With me now is Martin Bevan, and we're going to have a look around the factory. Hi Martin.
Welcome, Kim. I'm going to show you around the time capsule manufacturing facility here.
Cool.
Let's go upstairs and check out some mixing.
Great. Okay Martin, what do we have here?
These are our mixing barrels. We prepare the mix for 1.5 hours before we put them into the extruding machines.
Yeah.
So we weigh out a mix downstairs, bring it up here. It's quite a nice summery temperature in here to help out with the mixing, about 36 degrees. And the materials are put into this mixing drum. It's pretty much a concrete barrel mixer here.
Yeah.
And we've got a few nuts and things in there to help keep it churning.
Good bit of Kiwi ingenuity, was it?
Oh yeah, it's a bit of trial and error.
Yes, but
yeah, we've got these bangers on the top here as well.
And the bangers keep dropping to keep things from sticking to the inside of the...
Sure, yeah. The zinc oxide is a very fine powder and it'll stick to the inside of the barrel if there's no motion there.
Right,
so we mix it in there for about 1.5 hours and then it's prepared. It comes out a bit like dishwashing powder or something like that. It's quite a nice sort of...
And that heads straight down the chute, does it?
Sure. We tip it into a stick and it's tipped into the hoppers here, which hold the powder for the extruders.
So that's full of pre-mixed powder now. Down there we can see the powder there.
Yep, so we've got a sieve over the top of there to make sure none of the larger size particles get through, and you can see the powder underneath there that's come out of the mixing drums.
Great. Should we go downstairs and see where it comes out?
Sure. Okay, Kim, so this is the hopper we had upstairs, so that's full of the powder we dropped in through the bottom.
Yep.
The powder's fed through a screw system down through a chute here, and it enters a heated auger, screw auger extruder, where it's fed along here under pressure. It comes out the front here, in front of the auger, a consistency of maybe toothpaste.
Right.
So quite a hot material, so you've heated up the powder to get that molten material.
And when it cools, is that what hardens it, or does it have a hardening agent?
Yes. No, that's just the temperature that cools it. We've
Right.
got a 3-stage cooling die here.
Yep.
The temperature's gradually lowered, so it comes out as a solid cylinder you see there.
Now we see it all coming out solid until it gets trimmed and its ends chopped.
Yes, so we've just got this wheel here counting up how long it takes for the right length bolus to be made.
Yep.
At which point the shape comes on, forms the bullet head of the bolus, saw comes through, and it's transferred down onto a scale where it's weighed.
Yep.
And if it's the right weight, then it's accepted into the carousel like so.
And if it's not, it's rejected there, goes back in, starts the process again.
Yes, we'll regrind it down and put it back into the mixers upstairs.
Righto. Now these are small boluses and they're taking about a minute a piece, aren't they?
Yeah, they come out at about 60 an hour. These are our sheep-sized bolus.
What about a 400 kilo cattle bolus?
Oh, they come out probably about 1 every 3 minutes.
1 every 3 minutes.
20 an hour.
And how many machines have you got running this?
We've got 9 machines in all.
Yep.
So yeah, it takes a lot of our time.
Capacity in an hour, how many can you pump out?
We tend not to run all of the machines on the same type bolus just because of bottlenecks in other places.
Righto.
But we're looking at probably 3,000 or 4,000 a day, hopefully, of the sheep-sized bolus.
Great. Well, let's go to the next stage then, because that's the waxing coating, isn't it?
Yep. And they're picked up by a vacuum system.
Yep. So just little vacuum suckers on the bottom there.
Sure. Yep.
Yep.
So that'll pick up the bolus and then it carries it across to this beeswax mixture here.
And how hot's that?
That's about 90 degrees.
Yep. And that's instantly basically cooled now, is it, that coat?
Yes, we've got a bit of a top delay there just to let the wax set, and then it'll go back in for another long dip.
2 dips?
Yes. We then have some 3 short dips on the end of the bolus to protect it, because that's the part of the bolus that's in the animal the longest.
Righto.
And it's also the part that protrudes from the applicator gun, so it's more likely that you take a bit of a knock when you're
applicating. So that's 3 extra on there, so it's got 5 coats on the nose and then 2 the rest of the bolus.
Sure. So the system was all designed and manufactured on site here.
Righto.
Got an engineering shop just across the way there.
Yep. Great. And then into the storage compartments, they fully dry here and then they get packed into boxes.
That's right, yes. We'll have staff go through and check each bolus individually, just checking that the wax coat is sound.
Yep.
There's no inclusions in the wax, and the bolus is a good quality, good strength.
Yep.
So it'll go through and wax the whole carousel like that.
Right.
So again, once they're finished being waxed there, they're taken off here and manually checked and put into the box that you'll be more familiar with, the final product there.
That's just checking to see that all the wax is fully sealed and not going to break off and things, is it?
And it's just a quick check of the strength of the bolus to make sure that it's a good quality.
Right, then. And that's what we end up seeing up on the shelf. We've now looked at the time capsule from an idea stage through the research and development and the production process. We're now talking to Malcolm Lester, who's Group Manager for Agri Feeds. Welcome, Malcolm.
Welcome.
They work closely with Solentis in the marketing and distribution of the product. Tell us, how do we get it out there?
Well, Kim, our role is to be the link between research and manufacturing to the farmer as the end user through all of the traditional farm merchandise retail outlets. So that's your stock and station companies, your dairy companies and all the vets throughout the North Island. We have a team of 7 salespeople throughout the North Island, and one of their primary roles is to be available to train both the reseller staff and also farmers. So they're there to go out on farm, provide advice, but also to offer demonstrations and actually how the capsule was administered. It's a role that certainly we take very seriously and is a critical part of the success that we've had with the time capsule so far.
And that's available to anyone. If they purchase the time capsule, have problems, they call you up.
Absolutely, we're only a phone call away.
Great. What about any comparisons between like the time capsule and other zinc treatments?
Well, there's no doubt that on a daily basis, a daily treatment basis, a time capsule seems to be expensive, but when you actually look at all of the benefits that time capsule brings to the farmer, I'm absolutely convinced that in fact it's a very cost-effective method of preventing facial eczema. Benefits such as the fact you're only treating once every 5 or 6 weeks depending on species, the fact you've got a very, very high level of protection or prevention over a long period of time. All those things add up to prevention of the disease, which leads to some production gains, and also it's just peace of mind for the farmer. He knows that he's got his animals prevented in the best way possible. Now, the time capsule is targeted at young animals, so the replacement animals going into a dairy herd or replacement animals going into a sheep flock, and they're the success of that particular farmer's enterprise looking into the future. So anything that he can do to minimise any damage that occurs to the animal in a very young stage in its life is going to have a potential economic payback for him as the animal becomes productive later on.
Because it does go on. If they get affected majorly in their young life, it's going to affect them later on through their production.
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
You know, facial eczema, the animal never fully recovers from it. The liver damage is permanent, it's irreversible. You know, we see all the time animals that have been exposed to facial eczema the following year coming into lambing or calving, problems arising, animals that just don't produce to their genetic potential.
Now Malcolm, you've been selling the time capsule for a number of years. How successful is it?
Well Kim, if you take the number of farmers throughout the North Island who talk about the success they've had with the time capsule, that to me is indication in itself that we've got a very, very successful product. Last year we sold close on 1 million capsules across all 6 products. I only see it getting bigger.
You mentioned North Island only. Are you only North Island? Does it go south?
There's a little bit goes into the South Island, but the South Island isn't generally regarded as having a high risk of facial eczema. So
it's usually temperature and things like that, weather conditions.
Facial eczema is definitely regarded as being a North Island only problem.
Thanks Malcolm. Well, let's go now and have a look at some capsules being administered and see how easy it is. Let's go.